So, the TP technique. Ask me a question. Please tell me how the work is done or the TF technique. Okay, I'll show you now. How do I get a bank like this? Here's a nice one on top in such volume. Somehow you have a beautifully unconventional way of doing things. How do you think it's done? Technically, can you tell me how it's done? No, sit here, tell me. Here she is, Peter, Mom. Wait a minute. She wants you. Okay, I, for one, will start. How much I understood her. Let's go in. I don't know, the photo, the name. Okay, there you go. Let's go in. From here we start gangbinging. Okay, so we're right up to here. Well, we're going beyond the strip. To that line we walked in. Yes. And from here we start filling, kind of, well, whoever can, kind of fan out as much as we can. You go out, you fill it in, but there's a middle left, we don't fill the middle. Just right here, this part, and on top of that right here. Next. This one bolt, I don't really understand, I don't know. This one's lifted. So, what do you remember? Tell me. You've got some kind of technique, don't you? Yeah, that's just how it depends on the lanyard. Here you were passing me yesterday, the technique you're doing. Here you were talking to the flank, here. Yes. And here it goes from here, a little higher for how long, somehow I don't remember either. Come back here again, put it out. It's posted here, it's empty here. And here we are on the way out. There you go. Well, that's how it's explained to you, isn't it? That's how much. Well, look, that's the technique, huh? What I don't like about this technique is the high traumatization of the early lips. Bruises that last many times longer than in the classic form. Bruising, hematomas, blood vessel damage, swelling. Plus it's a lot of traumatization of the tissue can cause infection. Because we don't work very carefully there, to put it that way. In classical technique, one to the floor, one track. One down, one to go. At most put a fan in there, yeah, from one kind of stand-up hole. And when PTP works in a normal way, I apologize, it is necessary to unzip the tissue inside to put the drug evenly there. That is, all tissues must be mechanically worked up with a needle. Tearing the tissue, so we're injecting, right? Where do we start? Well, from wherever. Let's say we turn everything off now. Yeah, if we don't. If we undercut the dimensions by 5 millimeters, we're backing off the dimensions about like this, right? And this is where it's gonna be, right? Each corner is individualized. And we look under each person. Because it is classically accepted that we indent the corner 5 millimeters from the top and bottom. Because, it is accepted that beautiful lips, when they start right here in the corners, volume is not needed. But there are people, there really are, and they come in who lack volume right here. They're straight up saying, add some volume to my corner here. If they ask for it, then add it. And if they don't. So in the top technique, we look at having lips like this, and we need to get. And, by extension, what's going on here. In order to get that, you have to shred all the tissue in your lips. Mechanical method. So you must have a hand that doesn't crush. If you don't do that, you'll have such a wild sweaterina. You have to find the strength to do this. You've got a client to put up with all this. I mean, they're already having a hard time with it, and if you're going to abuse her like that, well, not everyone is willing to put up with it. If there's ready, who can tolerate, if you were already tuned in and ready to produce all this, then really through one hole is introduced multiple. There are not 3 fans, the maximum, as far as it can be, and mechanically we stick the needle, and inside it still move. To get all that fabric out of there. Then after all this or in the process you add the gel, that is the filter. Either you're laying down thin tracks like this. It reaches beyond the band zone. A no-go zone, when we're half depth, it's invented for a reason. It is invented to reduce your complications after the procedure. So that I teach you now to do what you cannot go in there, you then do, and you would live happily, and your clients would be happy, and no claims to you, and, accordingly, to me later. So here's what is taught there, go there, learn there, so that there is responsibility on the people who teach you to do it. Because the number of complications increases. You have, let's say, one of the 20 people classically complain about something, a balloon, some hormolysis, fibrosis, yes, and here you have out of 10, 5 will complain. Well, if it's fun for you to solve these cases, and all the time to say that calm down, it's all normal, everything will pass, well, to spend your strength and energy afterwards to explain to people that you knew what you were doing, and so on, yes. Now, if you're willing to do all that, well, that amount of complicated 50s. Then do it. I'm not ready, I don't want to. Well, I don't see how, right now. I mean, as I was saying, you were saying, I guess, we're coming in here. Out of the line of prohibition, move on. And here we leave a void. Yes, you can leave the denseness here, because there are 2 of their own in the center here, and we need to increase it in area. So this is where the drug is put, and the drug is put on top of the drug as well. That's one I'm not going to let you get away with. Well, because she wants a lot, which doesn't happen. And this is where we go out and fill in. I mean, from here. And this jar does the same thing. Yes. Plus then when needing to shape, yes, it's all pretty. You can go over the outline. So that the outline is clear. So we filled the entire volume inside with this kind of equipment. That's all filled in. That is, we stripped the fabric, put some filler in there thinly, printed it with a finger, assembled the bow, the whole thing, yes, and we can go over the contour. And it's the same from below that I always leave from below too. Same thing, but I wouldn't recommend going from the bottom. From below, it's not always something that needs to be enlarged a lot down there, right? But the general way it's done is this. Yeah. Therefore. Yeah, there's a fire in my eyes. You do me later. Write in pics to see how you do. At least I'll get to see it. Can we figure it out? Or we?